right, the great Kiefer Crosbie. I see the Ireland flag behind you there. Last time I spoke to you, you were a boxer, and now you're a UFC fighter, which has been the dream for pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, man, it's mad. Yeah, I just done boxing, but I was always a martial artist. I just did that as a little side hustle, but my heart's always with MMA. You know what I mean? Everyone knows that. So yeah, lifelong vision and goal and dream accomplished by getting the contract. But the real goal is Sunday. Do you know what I mean? I have to get that win. So that's the mission I'm on. So I won't be satisfied or happy or celebrating anything until I get my hand raised.
Of course, I was watching when you were speaking with Severe MMA, and you were talking about how they told you, oh, we've bad news. You're not going to get on the Contender Series. Instead, you're just going to go straight to the UFC and get your fight. So were you in France at this point, or were you in Ireland, or what was the story when you got the call telling you you're finally going to make it?
I was at home. Me and my girlfriend are watching the Kanye West documentary on Netflix, and it's funny because it was literally at the part where he was walking through Times Square, and he
Mm.
was just floating around having a buzz. And my girlfriend was like, "Oh, it's mad the way Kanye West just was walking around there." And this is like 2011, and I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "We were literally talking about, yeah, well, give me a couple of years and I'll get to this UFC. I won't be able to walk around, O'Connell Street." And literally 5 minutes later, Audie rang me and was like, "Hey, what story?" And he never normally rings me late at night. It was like 10:30, and I was expecting it to be at the Contender Series because we were talking that week about they were looking for passport details, they were looking for background check they were doing on me, and I was like, okay, maybe the wheels are in motion here. And when he rang me, he hit me with that line. He's like, "Listen, man, we got some bad news, but we got some good news." And I was like, like I thought the good news was going to be like a different opportunity or a business, so I
Mm-hmm.
did not, I just wasn't sure. And then when he hit me with the whole welcome to the UFC 4 fight contract, I was like, I nearly threw my phone across the room.
It
So yeah,
was.
I was over the mill.
It sounds like an incredible moment, and then you jet off to France with the team. Kind of an interesting choice in camp and doing everything. Was like I think in the media in our circles it was all about Connor's in camp, Connor's in camp. But was it essentially your camp and Kieran Clark's camp?
Well, it's Connor's camp, but like we're all teammates and we
Mm-hmm.
all work together. So there's no such thing as just a one person camp. You know what I mean? We're
Right.
all teammates and we all get to work in. We're all pushing ourselves. We're all getting the most out of each other every day. That's just the way training works. So me going over there is very beneficial for me, for Connor, for Keane, for Lee, for everyone. Do you know what I mean? So like we're getting the work in. We went over there and we knuckled down. And my opponent is a tall, good striker with good judo. So like I was thinking, right, Keane Cowley's a perfect spar. Lee Hammond for grappling, two tall lads to me, my main training partners. And Connor rang me straight away, and he was like, "Listen, man, let's go. First of all, let's get over here and let's train. But put some work in, put the blinkers on, and let's get this work in." And that's exactly what I've done, and I've just been focused ever since. It was only like obviously 2 weeks notice, but I have been flat to the mat for the past 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And blinkers on, just fully focused on the task at hand.
It sounds to me like you were kind of in the perfect position for a 2 week run at it, where like you've got, I mean, a lot of people would say the greatest fighter of all time calls you up and says, right, let's get out of Dublin, let's get out of the usual situation, let's really deeply hardcore get into MMA, immerse ourselves in MMA here in an outside camp. I suppose what was it like over there? What was the vibe like and the atmosphere in there? Because it's an intense camp where you've got all these killers, like you say, Lee, Keane, and then of course you and Kieran Clark both right right out from fighting yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. And just to be around Connor and talk to Connor and see him in person and get advice face to face. And he knows, I know Connor 12 years, you know what I mean? I'm training with Connor a long time, and he's seen everything I've been through in my career. And he's been there since I had my first amateur fight in SBG, do you know what I mean? So,
Mm.
like, he's seen it all, and he was just so proud, do you know what I mean? And giving me serious advice and talking to me properly. And just, he actually, before I even went over, he had looked my opponent up, looked at all of his fights, and was just breaking them down, like details that like you couldn't pay for. You know what I mean? And I was like, we have the same mindset, and I have a great eye for fighting as well, a great fight IQ, and the two of us were literally on the same path of like, yeah, you're right. That's what you do. That's the shot. This is this. He does this, and we just had great conversations about it. And I'm very grateful to have literally, as you said, the greatest of all time invested in my career as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm unbelievably grateful for that. And he flew me over there, and he flew me and the boys over first class over to Australia because he knew the benefits of me getting a good sleep on the plane, so I wouldn't have jet lag and like that. You have no idea how much that means to me. That means the world, and that's what loyalty actually is. You know what I mean? Like people speak about loyalty like they know what it is. Like things like that is loyalty to me. Do you know what I mean? He's a brother for life, and I'll never forget that, and I appreciate that forever. Do you know what I mean? Things like that are like so important, man, in this game. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was a great few days over there, great training, and then me and the boys came over here to Australia, and we've been training hard over here too. So it's been going great, to be honest. I have to say, I have no complaints, no jet lag. And just everything was just perfect. Everything has just gone perfect. You know what I mean? Literally has been perfect. So can't complain.
Kevin as an opponent, I mean, this is kind of something that's going to be nice for you in the UFC. Is generally people don't pull out. I know that in your career, almost all of your fights, you'll get scheduled to fight someone, and then there'll be 3 or 4 more guys before you actually get into the cage.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx my debut. Yeah, please.
Yeah, no, that's what.
I'm not holding my breath. Listen, I'm here to fight, and I'm showing up on Sunday to fight. So let's just hope he shows up too.
But the way your career has gone, does that mean you don't do the tape study? You don't like, or not don't do it, but I mean, you couldn't really for a lot of these guys because you'd get an opponent, and then it would be another person or whatever. But I guess for Aaron, that was kind of a different thing. But is this someone who like you say, you and Conor were both like religiously kind of looking at the tape, or what was the story there?
Yeah, look, I do look up tape, of course, and I just don't get obsessed with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've learned that lesson from back in the day. I think someone told me this. I can't remember who it was. One of the media guys said, I have the most amount of pullouts in Irish MMA. I think I'm the guy that has had most pullouts
Yeah.
from guys pulling out against me.
Well, that's just
like a
one. That's
record.
only one event.
Yeah, but, I've had so many. Yeah, I've had so many. So like, I did learn back then to be like not falling in love with the opponent and studying them too much. Like study them, of course, but don't fall in love with the idea of this is definitely the opponent. Like still be switched on, still practice martial arts in every. Like I mean, some people do like an 8-week camp and they're fighting a kickboxer that has shit grappling, and they're like, right, I'm just gonna kickbox for the next 8 weeks, or I'm gonna and then 3 days out, this southpaw wrestler comes in, and if you're not prepared to make that switch, well, then that's on you. Do you know what I mean? I've been there so much in my career that like I've had to adapt, and like I'm fighting a 6'2" guy now. I'm fighting a 5'9" boxer, and I thought he was a 6'2" kind of kicker. Now I just learned early on. You know what? I'm not falling in love with the idea of this is definitely the guy. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna practice martial arts, and I'm gonna be switched on and deal with it on the night. That's the whole idea of MMA anyway. It's just self-defense under the bright lights with everyone watching, really. So I have to be prepared for everything. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I really believe in. So,
But I'm sure Kevin is there at the hotel now. Look, he's probably going to make the weight. And he's probably going to fight you. The weight's an interesting one as well, but we're running out of time, so I want to ask quickly as well. The last one was boxing, and it was that whole weird influencer world. And I know that there were people afterwards very interested in you in that world, but you were kind of laser focused on the UFC. I wonder, are you gonna stick around, and are you gonna watch Dylan's fight? Because he's the next guy from your gym who's got a big thing in that universe.
of course, man. I'll back Dylan. Do you know what I mean? Dylan's a friend of mine. We're teammates, we're friends. So, of course, I'm always going to back my friend and my teammate. Do you know what I'm saying? And I hope he does well. I hope he's training hard, and I hope he goes in and gets the job done. It's a crazy world we live in right now with combat sports. All these hybrid events are crazy. Do you know what I mean? But I can honestly say that I'm just so happy. You have no idea, Donna, how happy I am to be actually in the UFC
Yeah.
right now. I signed the UFC contract, the greatest combat sports event of all time. I've been dreaming of this for 15 plus years, man, and I'm finally here. And I actually can't even tell you how much this means to me to be here. And I can't wait to just go out there, make the walk, and represent me country, me area, myself, me family, and just do my best and get me hand raised on Saturday night.
Kiefer, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And actually, just very quickly, were you worried that it
Yeah.
wouldn't happen? Were you concerned, like when you did the boxing thing, and it's like, well, there's money here. I could do this. I could do whatever. Were you thinking like, maybe I'm gonna have to do something else, like Dylan is doing, or like other people have had to do in the past, like other fighters that you've seen, Anthony Taylor, stuff like that. It's like it's not gonna happen for me. I'm gonna have to do something else. Or did you always know the UFC is gonna happen?
Man, I just knew it was going to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd die trying. That's just who I am. The only reason I'm sitting here right now is because I'm stubborn and I won't take no for an answer. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. If I write it down and I envision it, I'll fucking find a way. And that's just the way it is. It doesn't matter what it is. If I set out to do something, if the whole world can be against me, I'm going to fucking do it. I don't care what anyone says, what anyone thinks about records and track history. I don't give a shit about any of that. If I say I'm going to do something and I really want to do it, I will do it. I will get it done. I will do it. And that's who I am. And that's the only reason I'm sitting here right now in Australia about to fight in the UFC. I said it out loud for many years. Go back and check. I've said it for years and I'm finally here now. So let that be a lesson to anybody. Just stop listening to people. Stop listening to outsiders. Listen to yourself. Write it down. Have it in your mind. Put the work in and go and get it because you can do it. And that's as simple as that. And I'm here now and I'm living proof that you can do that. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about me. I'm just a young fella from the north inner city of Dublin that just worked hard, knew what he wanted and went and got it. And it took a long time but I'm here now and I'm stubborn and nobody's going to take this away from me. So that's the only reason I'm here. So I always did know it was going to happen. It's been frustrating. Don't get me wrong. There's been ups and downs, far more downs than ups, but I'm here now and I'm living proof that, dreams can come to reality if you put the work in.
Thank you so much for your time, Kiefer. It's been a pleasure covering your career from the Bama days, the Bellator days, everything.
We're only getting going. We're only getting going.
And only getting started. All right. Talk to you next week, man.